How's it going, everybody? Texas Man here. I hope you guys are all having a phenomenal day. Please give this video a thumbs up if you guys really enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys have not already. Also, do me the biggest favor of all. Hit that bell notification button and make sure you guys select all for all notifications so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on my channel. Also, please head over to Twitch. Follow me at Douglas447. That is with a capital D. I know a lot of people have probably been wondering, I can't find you on Twitch. Where are you, Texas Man? Where are you? I know in a lot of my past videos I keep saying no caps, no spaces. The no spaces thing is true, but for whatever reason the search engine is picky on this fact. So if you guys want to find me on Twitch, I do streams there at Douglas447 with a capital D. I stream Overwatch, Black Ops, Overwatch and Black Ops, that's funny. Overwatch, Call of Duty, Destiny, Battlefield, Resident Evil, Alien Isolation, and any other new games that I end up buying, I will be streaming for you guys, whether that be like Insurgency Sandstorm, Avengers, Halo Infinite, anything else that's coming out for the new generation. I will be possibly streaming for you guys over there. So head over there. It is free. All you guys got to do is create a username, password, put in your birthday, some other really small, minor personal information, and you guys can do that. So I highly encourage you guys to go over there and do that. And if you guys have already, thank you guys for the love and support for doing so. And in this video, of course, we're going to be continuing on reading through my book series. We are reading the Chronicles of Unit 4-2, The Galaxy War. If you guys want a copy of this book to read along with me, please let me know in the comment section. You're going to have to give me your email, and I will email you a copy of it with it being coming from Microsoft Word. So make sure you guys have Microsoft Word so you guys can actually read the book with me. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this. I know the Chronicles of Unit 4-1, Vader Morgan missiles, it kind of felt like I was rushing through it. It wasn't that I was rushing through it, it's that that book that I ended up writing in 2005, which is really weird to think about, was cheesy. And it was supposed to be cheesy. I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought it was cheesy, and it was kind of boring and dull, but a lot of characters and a lot of events that happen in the first book will play a bigger role in the future books. Like, this is a direct sequel to the ending of the first book with Destruction Day, where basically the entire planet of Earth is wiped out by nuclear missiles. So I say. Yeah, little insight to the future, the book that we're about to read, and the coming ones, is that, so if you guys remember, at the end of the first book, Unit 4 and some of their family members, they end up fleeing Earth before 9:57 p.m., and they head to the space station that is, where is it? I think it's near the moon or Mars. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've read these books. So, yeah, anyway, everyone's on the space station now, and we're going to read through. I've got about an hour to read, so I'm going to read as much as possible in the hour that I have. And this book has 8 chapters. This book is actually a little shorter than the first one, which is kind of weird. So I'm hoping that I will be able to get through this book to you guys. Get through this book for you guys in about 2 to 3 parts. So we'll read the intro, and then we will get right into reading the actual book. So I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, real quick, lastly, 2 things. This book will not be as cheesy as the first one. And this book, The Chronicles of Unit 4, like I said, I was talking about it earlier in my first Chronicles of Unit 4 Part 1 video. I didn't end up writing this as the book it is. This book, The Chronicles of Unit 4, The Galaxy War, was actually divided up into 4 parts. So, Chapter 1 and 2 was one book, Chapter 3 and 4 was another book, 5 and 6 was another book, and 7 and 8 was another book. And I ended up cutting out a lot of stuff from the old original books to condense it and make it a more coherent story, which you guys can decide for yourself if it actually works. In my opinion, it does. And although I know it says on the book front page it's me as the author, I did have some other people give me some inspiration and tips and advice to make this book a lot better. So you guys know who you guys are, and I appreciate it. I'm not going to go down the list. I want to keep this video as short as possible. It's already going to be like an hour long. So without further ado, let's read the overall general review and introduction, and let's read the book. Here we go. After fleeing Earth on Destruction Day to the space station, Unit 4 and some of their family members begin to try to live a normal life. But somehow, Ash Becca eventually is the only one left on the space station. Ash takes the NS-7 T-14 to the planet Yan 4, meets the X-3 that forms the second Unit 4 team, and learns of a new threat. Evil has returned in the form of a man named Darth Upday and droids from the planet C7-S6. From battling space-like warships to encountering a black hole to the formation of the Galaxy Rebellion Group, GRG, and to the battle to protect the new human homeworld, Earth 2, this is going to be another interesting adventure. The enemy is large. Will the GRG and Unit 4 or the Empire win the Galaxy War? Find out. Chapter 1. Year 2070. 8 years after Destruction Day. Our story continues as Ash Becca is looking down at his brother's grave inside of the space station located near Mars. Day 967,349. I have just finished burying my brother and plan to take a nap. End daily log, said Ash Becca, speaking into a hand device. It had been many years since the destruction of Earth, and in that time everybody died, yet Ash remained. It has also been said that Ash killed Sam, or Satan in disguise, to see if what his brother Tom said was true, but it was only a rumor. Ash entered his room inside of the space station, and within minutes he was fast asleep. When he awoke the next morning, he realized that he needed to resupply, or else he would die. Ash loaded up the famous NS-7 T-14 ship and prepared to leave the space station for the first time, but not the last. Day 967,350. I am now taking off in the NS-7 T-14 and hope that there is a peaceful planet that I can use to resupply. End daily log, said Ash. Blast off in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Zoom! And away the spaceship went into outer space. Hours passed, and Ash had not found a planet that could sustain life. Soon, Ash could see an unknown planet to him. The NS-7 T-14's NS-7 T-14's controls began to go crazy, and Ash began to try to regain control of the ship. Ash looked at the screens and realized the ship was on autopilot course for the planet. Ash strapped himself in a chair and hoped for the best. 10 minutes later. The NS-7 T-14 entered the planet's atmosphere, and Ash realized that the planet is called Yan 4. Red alert! Ash looked to see that a hurricane was coming towards the ship. Here we go, said Ash. The NS-7 T-14 started to shake, and within seconds the ship was flipped upside down, which resulted in Ash barfing on the control panel. The ship remained still, allowing Ash to see the planet's forest and many creatures unknown to man, like a calopa bear and an arraying snake. Yan 4's terrain was magnificent, with many mountains 3 times larger and higher than Mount Everest. Red alert! Ash looked at a meter to realize that the ship was losing fuel faster than it was using it. Kaboom! The NS-7 T-14 was blowing up from the inside. Ash ran to the driving panel and set a course a couple miles away from what appeared to be a village with people. 1 minute later. Ash landed the ship in a forest and began to think to himself what he was going to do to leave Yan 4, even if he bought supplies. Ash loaded up his lightsaber, food, a blast rifle, and a list of things he was going to have to purchase to repair the ship. When he stepped outside of the ship, there were 3 adults with guns pointed at him. Who are you, and what are you doing on Yan 4? Asked a man, which appeared to be the leader. I am Ash Becca, and I'm here to purchase supplies and parts to fix my ship, replied Ash. The man looked at his companions and then back at Ash. Do you know Tom Becca? Asked the man. Well, yes. Tom was my brother, said Ash. What do you mean he was? Asked the man. He is dead, along with my parents and the rest of Unit 4, said Ash. The man looked at his companions and spoke. It would appear that the time has finally come at last, said the man. I'm sorry, but who are you? Asked Ash. "You are looking at the X-3," said the man. "I am Bobby, the leader. This is Sarah, our driver and weapons specialist. And this is Nick, our scientist," said the man. "Now, to help you with your confusion, Tom sent us here many years ago to become a backup plan if Earth was to fall," said Bobby. "Tom said that if the space station was in trouble, that the NS-1714 could travel and would only travel to this planet, where we would disarm the auto drive system and allow a second team to be made to protect the universe from other evil leaders," Bobby continued. "You mean that there are more evil leaders out in the universe?" asked Ash. "Yes," replied Bobby. "What do these evil leaders want?" asked Ash. "For now, we know that only a man named Darth Update plans to use his army of droids to take control of this galaxy and then the universe," said Bobby. "Looks like this is going to take some time to repair," said Nick, looking at the damaged ship. "Sarah, go start the Arc 170, said Bobby. "Ash, I have a plan for you," said Bobby. "We are going to our base, and there we will test you," said Bobby. "If you pass this test, the X-3 will no longer exist, and you will become the new leader of the new Unit 4, said Bobby. "Done," said Ash, shaking Bobby's hand. The X-3 and Ash loaded the Arc 170 armored jeep and began the short drive to the X-3's secret base. 10 minutes later. Real quick, I'm not letting the camera roll for like 10 minutes and then continuing to talk, but I'm allowing for passage of time. So, just in case anyone wants to nitpick at me about this, that's why. The Arc 170 stopped in front of a gigantic mountain, with a part of one side covered in steel, which formed the entrance door to the secret base. "Open the door," said Bobby to Nick. Nick pressed a button on the Jeep's window, and the door began to open. The Arc 170 entered the mountain, and the door closed behind them. Lights began to turn on at random. Within seconds, the X-3 and Ash were out of the Arc 170 and watched as the mountain's interior began to shine extremely bright. The X-3 had built numerous passages inside of the mountain and even built a waterfall that towered 200 feet in the air. "Ash, your test is waiting for you," said Bobby. Ash followed the X-3 into a room, and then Sarah pressed a button, dropping Ash into a room below the X-3. "What are you three doing?" asked Ash. "This is your test," said Bobby, looking down at Ash. "It is very simple. Just open the door, kill whatever you see, and once you kill it, then we'll allow you to come upstairs," said Bobby. Bobby closed the latch and followed his friends into the watch room to watch the battle occur, while Ash drew his green lightsaber and opened the door to leave the cage he was currently inside of. Ash walked slowly, not knowing what was coming towards him to kill him. "Sir, the creature has met Ash," said Nick to Bobby. Try that again. Ash walked slowly, not knowing what was coming towards him to kill him. "Sir, the creature has met Ash," said Nick to Bobby inside of the watch room. Ash looked around a corner and saw that a strange creature was eating on a pile of dead bodies, and realized it was a Spinosaurus. Ash planned how to kill him fast and decided that the head was probably the weakest spot. Ash ran towards the Spinosaurus and leaped into the air, and just when Ash was about to slay the Spinosaurus, it vanished before his eyes. The X-3 began to laugh, for they knew what happened. Ash was stunned and froze, for he realized the Spinosaurus had the power to teleport and that it was right behind him. Ash leaped into the air and landed on the Spinosaurus' head and chopped it off before the creature could teleport again. The body collapsed to the ground and a door opened with Bobby inside. Ash stepped inside and realized that Bobby was standing inside of an elevator. Bobby pressed a button and the elevator began to move upwards. "Ash, we are preparing to go downtown and would like our new leader to come with us," said Bobby. Bobby then took off a pin with the word leader from his shirt and gave it to Ash. "I won't fail you, Sarah, Nick, or the universe, and I promise that this Darth Update will be stopped and killed," said Ash. The elevator stopped and the door opened to allow the new leader of the second Unit 4 team and Bobby to see Sarah and Nick waiting inside of the Arc 170. Ash and Bobby entered the armored jeep, and the drive began to the town that Ash had seen when the NS-1714 was in Yon 4's atmosphere. Along the journey to the town, located several miles away from the mountain base, the new Unit 4 passed by the NS-1714 and saw that no one had discovered it. The team passed The team passed by several creatures' homes, like the koala bears and even the red baron tiger's home. Chapter 2. You know what? I just realized. Okay. So Chapter 1 was called John 4. Chapter 2 is called Prisoners. 1 hour later. Unifor. There we go. That's going to be good for the bloopers. Okay. Moving on. 1 hour later. Unifor had arrived at the town and was confused, for not one person was outside. No one was purchasing goods, children weren't playing around, and adults weren't having the same conversation 20 times over. "Drop your weapons and put your hands up in the air," said a man, with a group of men behind him and carrying guns. Bobby, Sarah, and Nick looked around to find their leader gone and realized he had disappeared with the sniper rifle. "I said drop your weapons and put your hands in the air, or else my men and I will shoot you," said the man. The 3 members did as the man said, and then they were shot with sleeping darts to help the group of 30 men transport their bodies to their secret hideout. 2 minutes later. The group of 30 men had left the town, and the townspeople began to exit out of their homes and continue their normal activities as if nothing happened. Ash tried to ask people for help of who those men were and why they had taken his friends, but only one of the townspeople seemed like talking about the subject. "Over here," said a man, which was standing in front of a supply shop. Ash walked towards the man and greeted him. "Please come inside, for I don't want any of those men to listen to our conversation easily that may have remained," said the townsman. Ash and the man sat down at a table, and the man explained everything inside of his shop. "My name is Henry, and I'm going to inform you of what just occurred," said the man. "Those men have been coming into this town and stealing random things, murdering the elderly, and taking prisoners of those that wander the streets when they come into town," said Henry. "Where did they take my friends?" asked Ash. "They have probably taken them to their hideout in the forest, and I'm sorry to say that no one has ever found it and come back alive," said Henry. "What can I do to rescue them?" asked Ash. "You could join my rebellion if we are lucky. Then, when they come back to town again, you'll have your friends with them." "They'll have your friends with them," said Henry. "When do they come into town, and why would my friends return to where they were taken hostage?" asked Ash. "The group comes when they want, and we learned that..." Oh, try that again. Can't talk. "When do they come into town, and why my... Can't talk. When do they come into town, and why would my friends return to where they are taken hostage?" asked Ash. There we go. "The group comes when they want, and we learn that they work for another, more deadly group called the Empire," said Henry. "I'll join your rebellion, but in return I want my friends returned alive, food for a year, and parts for my spaceship," said Ash. "You will be the sniper, and I promise you all those things," said Henry. "I will help your rebellion, even to the death," said Ash, shaking Henry's hand. Location: the hideout. The other uniform members were thrown into a jail cell, and just before the man that ordered them to surrender closed the door, he spoke to the prisoners. "Tomorrow, I, Dyke, will lead my group of men into the town where you will be given to the Empire for an extreme amount of cash and guns. X3, said the man. Location: the town. Ash had just found the perfect spot to snipe, and Henry was coming towards him with good news. "Ash, the supplies you requested are prepared for you, and the rebellion is ready to open fire on those men when they come to town," said Henry. "I would like to make a suggestion to the leader of this rebellion," said Ash. "I'm the leader, so what is it?" said Henry. I think we should allow them the choice to surrender, and if they don't, then we can open fire," said Ash. "I'll try my best to do what you say." I will try my best to do what you said to me, Ash, said Henry. 8 a.m. "Sir, I have spotted jeeps entering the farms and heading towards the town," said one of the rebellion men, with a binocular on his earpiece to Henry. "All men to your positions, and make sure not to shoot the other uniform members," said Henry. The men had their 3 cannot... The men that had the 3 uniform members arrived in their jeeps and pulled into a parking lot, unaware of the surprise that was coming. The 30 men walked towards Henry, who was standing in the road with a gun and a dirt load of ammunition. "Why is it that you have dressed up like you're leading a rebellion against my men?" asked Dyke to Henry. "You know why, Dyke, and if you don't do as I say, bad things are going to happen," said Henry. Dyke stood face to face in front of Henry. "What do you want?" asked Dyke. "I want the X3 to be released and for you and for your men to never return to this town again," said Henry. "You know that I can't do that," said Dyke. "You will, brother," said Henry. The uniform members looked at each other and realized that there was more to this than just a small conflict of town robberies. Dyke reached for his sidearm. Kabang! Ash shot Dyke in the palm of his hand, resulting in the gun dropping to the ground. "The next one is through your head," said Henry to his brother. Dyke's men began to load their guns, and Dyke began to think of what to do without being killed. Dyke reached for his sidearm on the ground. Kabang! Henry leaped behind a pile of boxes, and the battle began. Ash began to lay down covering fire while the rebellion group of 40 men charged into battle. Kabang! Henry had been shot by an enemy sniper. Ash, once he put out the sniper, left his sniping position to rescue Henry. "Ash, you must help the others," said Henry, with Ash holding Henry's hands. "Your men are doing fine without me," said Ash. "Then, once this battle is over, take the supplies from my store and help save the universe from Dyke's master," said Henry. "Who is Dyke's master?" asked Ash. Sadly, Henry couldn't answer, for he had died. "Ash, we have defeated the men," said a rebel from the town. "Great job, and take care of Henry, for I and the other uniform members have some business to attend to," said Ash, leaving his friend's body. Ash found his friends Bobby, Sarah, and Nick alive and waiting for their friend to return. The team surrounded each other, and Ash explained everything, including the reason for him leaving his friends. Chapter 3. The EAS. Unifor journeyed into Henry's shop and found what they needed to repair the NS-7T14 and other supplies like food. When the team walked outside, they saw a large ship entering Yanfor's atmosphere with a label reading EAS. "What is that?" asked Ash. "That would be an EAS, Empire attack ship, or Death Update spaceship coming to take us prisoner," said Bobby. "What are you talking about?" asked Ash. "The men at the hideout said that they were going to trade us," said Nick. Unifor loaded the ARC 170 and began to drive to the NS-7T14 to repair it and use it to destroy the EAS. 1 hour later, the team arrived at the NS-7T14's crash site and began to repair it immediately. Bobby was to fix the engines, Sarah was to place missiles into launch tubes, Nick was to repair the control panels, and Ash was to supervise the repairing so that their ship could survive upcoming battles. 30 minutes later, Unifor had completed the repairs and boarded the NS-7T14 to save Yanfor from the EAS. Ash sat in his command chair. Nick was seated at the advisor station. Sarah took control of the driving panel, and Bobby was the missile launcher. "All systems are green and the ship is prepared for takeoff," said Nick to Ash. "Sarah, begin the launch countdown and start the engines," ordered Ash. "Launching in 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, launch," said Sarah. Sorry, I have to do the countdown. It's just so much fun. The NS-7T14 took to the sky, and away Unit 4 went to eliminate the EAS orbiting the planet, leaving the ARC 170 behind. Wait, what? Hold up. Pause. I just discovered a plot hole in this book. Because in the books following this, the ARC 170 armored jeep can fit into the NS-7T14. So why is it that I just discovered a plot hole I created in my own book? Great job. Rewinding to the beginning of page 8. The NS-7T14 took to the sky, and away Unit 4 went to eliminate the EAS orbiting the planet, leaving the ARC 170 behind. Within time, the team saw that the EAS hadn't landed yet because only humans could be seen from above, and not one droid that worked for Darth Upday. "Turn the ship," said Nick. Sarah turned the ship and dodged the nuclear missile. "There it is," said Ash, looking out of the glass window in the control room. "Bobby, load everything we have and inform me when they are ready for launch," said Ash, using the speaker system over the ship. Seconds later, Bobby informed the control room that a dozen nuclear missiles were prepared for launching. "Sarah, press the launch button," said Ash. Sarah pressed the button, and away the nuclear missiles went towards the EAS. Kaboom! The nuclear missiles hit their target, but the enemy ship remained and then fired 2 hydrogen missiles towards the NS-17-14. "Turn on the cloaking shield," said Ash. Sarah pressed a button and the ship became invisible to radar and missile tracking. Zoom! "Ash, the hydrogen missiles have passed by us," said Nick, looking at a screen. "Good. Now turn off the cloaking shield and pilot us towards the EAS," said Ash. Sarah and Nick did as they were told, without question. Within seconds, the 2 hydrogen-following missiles had turned around and were heading towards Unit 4's ship. "Turn on the cloaking shield again," said Ash. The cloaking shield was activated, and the missiles were right on the NS-17-14's tail. Kaboom! The hydrogen missiles passed the NS-17-14 and instead impacted the EAS, resulting in its destruction. Unit 4 resumed their positions and prepared for the long trip to the space station, where they would plan a strategy of how to weaken the Empire by destroying a droid factory. Chapter 4: Machine Gun Droids. After a long and boring travel, Unit 4 arrived at the space station, where Ash had been living for many years alone. The team unloaded the ship and ventured around their new base of operations. Ash showed his friends where each of them could sleep and told them who lived in what room. At about 6 p.m., Ash told his friends what the plan was to destroy the Empire factory located by the planets of Mac, Comforting, and Actor Desander. "We depart tomorrow at 8 a.m., said Ash. Unit 4 left the conference room and climbed into his bed to prepare for the next day. 6 a.m. "Ash, we heard a sound like a large piece of metal being dragged on the space station's floor." Ash awoke, told his friends to stay in their rooms and wait for him to return. Ash grabbed a blaster rifle from the nearby armory, and the search began for whatever was causing the loud sound. Ash looked around the entire space station, yet he still found nothing. Ash walked into the laboratory and saw a strange creature playing around with a poison gas container. Ash looked at the creature and realized it was a droid that belonged to Darth Upday. The droid turned around to see Ash and cracked the container of poison gas open. Ash blasted the droid and pushed a button to close the only door into the laboratory. The other team members rushed to the door, and Nick used the speaker to ask Ash what happened. "There's no time to explain. Just start spreading K-67 all throughout the station, or else I am dead," said Ash over the speaker system. Nick and Sarah began spreading the K-67, and within minutes Bobby was using the speaker system to inform Ash that he could open the door. The door opened, and the poison gas began being neutralized by the K-67, while Ash was walking out without being able to breathe right. Sarah and Nick helped Ash to the medical room to check his vitals, while Bobby dragged the droid body into the graveyard to find out why this droid was inside of the space station and how it got inside in the first place. 20 minutes later. Ash could breathe properly, and Bobby had discovered a lot of information from the dead droid. Unit 4 met inside of the conference room, and the information download began. "I have learned that the droid was sent from a planet called C7S6 and was programmed to murder the 4 of us," said Bobby. "Did you find out how the droid got inside of this place without detection?" asked Ash. "I believe that the droid had a booster backpack to melt the armor and then fix it with a wander stick, a device that fires glue that reseals holes. I don't know why it wasn't detected," said Bobby. Ash leaned back in his chair and looked at each of his friends. "It would appear that the war has begun with the Empire striking us first. Our first stop is to travel to C7S6 and find out if Darth Upday or someone else is responsible for this act," said Ash. "What about the plan to destroy the Empire factory near Comforting?" asked Nick. We'll take care of that after we travel to C7S6, said Ash. The team loaded the NS-7T-14 and departed for the planet. 4 hours later. Unit 4 had just traveled by the planets Licton and Yan4 and could see C7S6 on the radar and out of the command room's window. Ash, I have found a strange energy spike coming from the planets. So, do you wish for me to land the ship near it? Asked Sarah. Please do so, because maybe the person that sent the droid is there, and the energy spike is a factory, said Ash. Sarah plotted a course, and the NS-7T-14 landed in a forest located a mile from the energy spike. I think the energy spike is over a base, said Nick, looking at his screens. Then we should all be double careful, because Darth Uptay could very well be on the planet, said Ash. Unit 4 loaded up on weapons and supplies to venture towards the energy spike on foot. 20 minutes later. Unit 4 had arrived at the energy spike's location and saw that a gigantic radar tower was in use, which was causing the energy spikes on radar. Open fire, said Ash. 3 seconds later, Ash looked around to see Bobby, Nick, and Sarah dead just before being killed. Ash, wake up, said Nick. Ash had fallen asleep and had a terrible dream. What just happened? Asked Nick. I just had a crazy dream, said Ash. Why would you, our leader, just fall asleep and have a quick dream? I think there is more for you to tell, said Nick. Okay, I'll tell you guys, said Ash. When I was about 5 years old, special doctors on Earth found a strange piece of bone in my head located near my brain, said Ash. The doctors attempted to remove it, but during the surgery it chipped off and fell into a place that if they tried to remove it, they would have killed me, said Ash. What does this story have to do with your dream and falling asleep? Asked Bobby. Ever since then, I have had the power to see the future, and the way I do this is by falling asleep and dreaming it in my mind, said Ash. What was your dream about this time? Asked Sarah. We all enter that palace and are killed, said Ash. Come on, guys, are we going in or not? Asked Bobby in a rude manner. We're coming, Bobby, boss, said Nick. The team journeyed out of the forest and walked towards the 30 droids that were guarding the entrance to the palace, but the team was unaware that Ash had left again to stop the unpleasant future from coming true. Halt! Why do you 3 come here? Asked a droid, which appeared to be the droid captain. We've come to speak to the leader of this base, said Bobby, taking Ash's position for the time. I will see if my master has time for humans today, said the droid captain, heading towards the entrance door to the palace. Location: inside of the palace. Droid Commander, a group of 3 humans have requested to speak with you, said a droid captain, entering the palace. Perfect. Allow them to come in, said the droid commander. The droid captain closed the door and walked back on his 2 legs, watching his fellow droids with his 2 blue eyeballs. That didn't come out right at all. Restart! Droid Commander, a group of 3 humans have requested to speak with you, said the droid captain, entering the palace. Perfect. Allow them to come in, said the droid commander. The droid captain closed the door and walked back on his 2 legs, watching his fellow droids with his 2 blue eyeballs. Yeah, I said that right. The droid captain shook the humans' hands with his own and informed them of the droid commander's decision. What do you want me to do with Unit 4, my lord? Asked the droid commander to a man cloaked in a black robe. I want you to force them to travel to Sector 21, and there they will meet their doom by my friend, said the man, with his black robe on and green spikes coming out of his back. Yes, Master Darth Uptay, said the droid commander. The doors opened to the palace. The 3 members of Unit 4 stepped inside and sat down at a table where the droid commander awaited them. Darth Uptay remained hidden during the conversation. We have just been attacked at a location near Mars by a droid that had a computer chip saying it was programmed from this planet, said Bobby. I never sent a droid to the space station located near Mars. In fact, the only planet I have sent a droid to kill somebody was on the planet Combe Dome, said the droid commander. That swamp planet is located numerous sectors away from your place, the droid commander continued. How did you know about the space station located near Mars? Asked Nick. Everybody in the universe has heard of this place, and is the only place able to live near Mars, said the droid commander. Okay, then you should have no problem telling who sent it then, and what planet they're on, said Bobby, standing up with his blaster rifle pointing at the droid commander's circular head. Our radar tower did pick up a conversation about a failed plan on the planet Mainline, said the droid commander. Bobby lowered his gun. If you're lying, I promise you that we will find you and kill you, said Bobby. Kabang! Kaboom! The three members of Unit 4 and the droid commander dashed for the door, opened it, and saw that 30 droids, including the droid captain, had been sliced and diced. The droid commander pushed the three humans out of the palace, and then was killed by Ash from behind. I hope you had enough time to receive the information about the planet Mainline, said Ash, turning off his green lightsaber. How did you know? Asked Bobby. Bobby, you have to remember that I can see the future, so I think... Bobby, you have to remember that he can see the future, so I think he knows everything that we were going to tell him, said Nick. The ground began to shake, and the team looked to see a fighter preparing for takeoff from the palace's rooftop. See you later, foolish team, said Darth Upday inside of the fighter's cockpit. Unit 4 watched as Darth Upday left the planet, really upset that he was within their grasp of killing. The team left the planet C7S6 and began the journey to the planet Mainline to discover who really sent the droid to the space station. Chapter 5. The Black Hole. Hours later. Unit 4 had just passed between the planets Act Poncan and Polaic and was just about to make the curve to go between Polaic and Comdon and finally be able to see the planet Mainline. 30 minutes later. Red alert! What is going on? Asked Ash, sitting in his command chair. It would appear that we have arrived at the coordinates of Mainline, but the planet seems to have exploded and now is a gigantic black hole, said Sarah. Nick, inform Bobby to load 5 nuclear missiles ASAP, said Ash. Nick used the speaker system and told Bobby what Ash's orders were, and within seconds Bobby replied back to Nick that they were ready for launch. It would appear that the black hole's gravitational pull is pulling us in, said Ash. Sarah, fire the missiles, said Ash. Wait, yelled Nick, before Sarah pressed the button. You say that you can see the future, so what's going to happen if it fails to destroy the black hole and pulls us in? Asked Nick to Ash. My power is meant to allow me to change certain things, not every mistake or problem we run into, said Ash. 1 minute until entrance, said a computer. Nick looked at Ash with a look of doubt, but Ash ignored his friend. Fire the missiles, said Sarah. Fire the missiles, Sarah, said Ash. I certainly hope you know what you are doing, said Nick. The missiles will reach the target in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, said Sarah. However, all that occurred where the missiles were sucked into the black hole. 45 seconds until we enter the black hole, said Sarah. Okay, your turn, Mr. Science. What will happen if we enter the black hole, said Ash to Nick. I have learned from my studies that 2 things will happen, said Nick. First, the ship could enter and be ripped apart by the black hole's gravity. We lose all of our breathing abilities and we all die, said Nick. Second, the ship could enter and we are all zapped into the future and we will remain trapped there until we locate another black hole that will take us back to our time, said Nick. 15 seconds until we enter the black hole, said Sarah. It's been a pleasure serving with you, said Ash over the speaker system. 10 seconds until we enter, said Sarah, bracing onto her handle. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Zoom! Unit 4 closed their eyes and seconds later opened them to realize that they were all alive. What is our position and time? Asked Ash. Our location is right in front of the Empire factory. Yet it is not out there, said Sarah, standing up and looking outside. Ash and Nick looked outside to see the Empire factory destroyed and in ruins. What is the date? Asked Ash. Nick ran to a panel and said that they had been transported 2 years into the future. What could have caused it to be destroyed and leave such a small sector of ruins? Asked Sarah. Maybe somebody or someone found out about it and destroyed it, said Nick. There's no army with this technology that could leave the factory in this state of ruin, said Sarah. What if the nuclear missiles that we sent destroyed the factory? Asked Ash. That is most likely what happened, said Nick. Zoom! The NS-1714 had entered another black hole, which sent the team back to their original time, but at a different location. They could now see out of the window the planets Disaster Master and Core Cloud. Bobby entered the command room, wondering what happened, and all was silent until Ash spoke. I think it is time we build an army before Darth Update finds a way to use that black hole to eliminate any resistance, such as us, said Ash. And I'm going to end the video here, guys. I'm running out of breath. So I'm going to end this, and part 2 will pick up with the beginning of Chapter 6, Core Cloud. I appreciate you guys all watching and listening to me read through the book. And I'll see you guys in part 2 coming out very soon. You guys have a great day. Bye.